Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take a look here at SUI. This is a request from one of our community members over here in our Discord. Deeply appreciate you requesting this here, Riven. Absolutely, thank you very much. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at some backend data, obviously kind of see what's going on with liquidation, and then we also want to kind of pay attention to our macro fib levels, and then concurrently, of course, our moving averages. Because if I recall correctly, this coin was under some specific key level resistances, and we want to make sure we're mindful of, well, the fact that we could go up or down from here, and just what that looks like, I guess. Big surprise, right? We're going to go up or down. That just seems so ridiculous when you think about it. But the truth is, that's kind of how trading is. Okay, so you just got to be kind of go with the flow, or roll with it, I guess you could say. It doesn't always go the way that you want, but the important thing is to recognize some of these things here that we're going to look at. So let's start off with, of course, our initial, kind of big picture here. More importantly, in this regard, we're going to look at our liquidation. When we look at liquidation, we can recognize that specific round numbers have these areas of concentration. As no surprise, it's really common for people to just kind of put their stop loss or to have a liquidation level right at that range. These are more than likely high leverage shorts and longs. When we take a look here, we can see 80 cents as well as $1 are kind of those two immediate, more short-term areas. Okay. Look at bigger picture, we can see 70 to 60 cents is the heavier concentration there. But more important, if we do take a look at the last month, heaviest concentration liquidation is 68 cents. So 68 upwards of 78 is a 10-cent range. It's pretty important to recognize. Okay, it's kind of what we're looking at there for the back end. So 60 to 78, that is a pretty big range. So this guy all the way through here. That's all heavy concentration as a liquidation. More to the downside than the upside if you look at this here though, right? So you got to recognize there is a larger propensity for this coin to continue lower than it would be to go higher. We've also got our larger macro point of control. That's bigger picture. Let's actually relook at that and double check, kind of see where we're at with that, because that can change over time. We do take a look. There was a macro point of control at 110. That was more relevant to recent time frame. But we look at here, bigger picture, we can see 84 cents, right where the price action is at now, is that current point of control. It's not the biggest, of course. There's larger ones down below. But generally speaking, if you kind of zoom in and look specifically at the most recent range, since we've been, basically this year, ever since December, roughly a year's worth of trading, we can see 85 cents is that current point of control. So the good news is that being below the price action, it's a support. Okay, so we should be able to see a bottoming out period. And the reason why that's relevant is because that's where the most amount of buying pressure has occurred over the last, 8, almost 9 months of trading. And that's why points of control are important to recognize. So again, it does change depending on where you look, but for the most part, that area there at 85 cents seems to be a pretty common denominator. Okay, all right, so all that being said, we're right at support. What does that mean for us? Well, we look at RSI, we're over 50 on the RSI. We haven't broken below yet. That's a good sign. Stochastic pulling back leads me to believe we might see a bounce here soon, just because generally when you get closer to support and you have stochastic pulling back, the price doesn't go much lower. You'll typically see the price bounce from there. We can also recognize too here though that MACD is kind of confirming that we're going to have a divergence soon. So that's a bit of a conflict, right? We got a MACD divergence potential, and then of course some key level supports right at the price action. Let's look at support. As a matter of fact, while we're here, we can kind of see here, there is the 50 and the 20 SMA below the price action. So that 78 to 79 cent range is going to work as a support if the price pulls back. Okay, so the good news is we got more support below us than resistance is above us, so there is a larger chance of the price going up. So trying to get too concerned with that MACD divergence, that it doesn't always work out the way that you expect it to. Okay, so MACD should be kind of like a secondary thing when other indicators are more primary. Having said that, we're kind of smack dab in the middle of a lot of moving averages on the 4 hour. Not a great sign. We're right there in the middle. We're right here at 50 on the RSI too. If we take a look, you can see we're just kind of testing that level. So we're still under some resistance in a way. Generally, when I see this, I steer clear and I wait until the price actually breaks out, and then we get a bullish backtest of somewhat of a resistance level. We do have this previous resistance and support at 87 cents. I recall that being pretty consistent. It's also concurrent with 0.382. So my speculation is until we get over that 0.382 fib level, we don't really have any business taking it long. Even though we got some signs pointing up, not all are, and a lot are pointing down too. And it doesn't make a ton of sense to kind of just really do that. Again, trading into those kind of areas can be very risky. So I prefer to have more confirmation when I take trades like this. Furthermore, too, if we see the cloud being above the price action, this does imply we have more propensity for the price to pull back. Again, mainly because we got this resistance range above us, we got the upper and lower lead of the cloud above the price action, and we also confirm the lagging spans, lagging span is within the price action, but the conversion line and the baseline are below, okay? That basically is 2 out of 3 reasons to keep a short position open, and 0 out of 3 reasons to consider a long. Okay, just because the lagging span is kind of getting in the price action, it doesn't mean you consider a long. It basically just means you probably have wanted to consider securing profits, especially if you took a short in the 90-cent range. Like, what are you doing? You're up 7 to 10%, on a spot trade, and obviously a lot more if it's a leverage trade. So trying to get greedy, folks. It's not a greedy market right now, and getting greedy on short positions is a bad idea. Okay, even though Bitcoin does have potential to pull back down lower, it doesn't mean it will. And a lot of coins are, for the most part, still pulling back, but they're also bottoming out too. You got to recognize most coins are at their macro point of control, leading me to believe we might see a bit of a push for altcoins here soon, especially if Bitcoin dominance starts to pull back, which it's not really doing that just yet, but it's trying. Okay. Anyways, all little things you want to kind of consider. I'll go ahead and post our updated playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. If you're not familiar, they look a little something like this, kind of just giving you indications of areas that I want to kind of consider jumping in for longs or shorts. And obviously, you want more specific details. I have a trade alert section here now in our Discord. This is all available in Telegram for our current members, Pioneer and higher. And again, just kind of gives you an insight of what I'm planning to do here next. Okay, these inevitably turn into trade signals. So, for example, our AVAX long recently, 21% there in 20 hours. And this is an SUI short, for example. We shorted the heck out of it a while back, and we got 51% in 3 days. So, different scenarios for different strategies. Just depends on where you're at with things. Okay, that's all there for you. If you're curious, feel free to reach out. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. Be happy to help you. That's just a really awesome part of our trading experiences. I hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you the next one. Thanks again for your time. Bye-bye.